All right. First, Todd is a good friend of mine, so I'm glad to introduce him today. Todd Bishop has spent 36 years as an IT professional, from programming to senior technical lead, with at least 15 years at GlaxoSmithKline. He has an undergraduate degree from Duke University, a master's of education from UNC, and an MBA from Duke. Although he has never worked in artificial intelligence specifically, as an IT professional, he understands computer systems and how AI is evolving, and is excited about the changes that are taking place. And I will add to that that he bought a Tesla back in 2017, and I have been with him on numerous occasions. I've seen the ups and downs of the improvement of self-driving, but most of the time I'm rather comfortable with it. But Todd's good about keeping his thumb on the steering wheel and making sure Elon doesn't take us down the wrong path. So anyway, with no further ado, Todd Bishop.
Thank you, Chris. I've got to reboot the system here. Pardon me? Got to turn it on. But there's a question pertinent to that coming up. Okay. No, it's good. That's good. Um, Good. Okay. All right. Good afternoon, and thanks for coming out. We'll be looking at artificial intelligence in the fourth industrial revolution. Can you hear me? Artificial intelligence in the fourth industrial revolution. Sorry. Okay. Artificial intelligence is one of the most important things that humanity is working on. It's more profound than, I don't know, electricity or fire. This was said by the CEO of Google, really Alphabet, Sundar Pichai, in 2018. So Google is very much actively working on artificial intelligence. More profound than fire. Can you get your head around that? AI is changing the world. This is the summary of the presentation. The automation and predictive analytics that AI will provide, gene editing, human-machine interaction, creating cyborgs. We're actually all cyborgs right now because we have a computer attached to us. It's not quite in the brain yet, but it's almost there. And Neuralink, Elon's company, implants chips in their head, and there's 3 humans right now with chips in their head that wirelessly communicate with computers. So it's happening. The innovation, economic growth, and societal changes that will take place with AI, and ultimately, perhaps the elimination of all jobs. More to come, and that leads to universal basic income. Very quickly looking at what are the industrial revolutions. The first one was started in 1760 in Great Britain, where we went from the agricultural economy or agricultural revolution to manufacturing. Things, instead of being made by hand, are now going to be made by machines, much more efficient. We had big factories starting up, and production of chemicals and iron started, and this lasted into the 1830s. The second industrial revolution was called the technical revolution, and it brought electricity, the important things, telephone, water, sewer, gas lines to everybody in the community. So we have the scientific advances now being promulgated or spread to everybody, and through the standardization of the electricity and telephone, we could do this now. So that went from 1870 to 1914. The third industrial revolution, also known as the information age or the digital revolution, started with the invention of the transistor in 1947. It is responsible for bringing all the computers we have today and the internet into existence. It's quite an age, and it's still going on now, really. So the fourth industrial revolution is called the imagination age because it really begins with the introduction of artificial intelligence. And I put 2022 because that's the year that ChatGPT was officially released to the world. And it really has changed the world. If you notice any commercial now, if the company has anything to do with technology at all, they put the word AI in there someplace. Oh yeah, so powered by AI. AI brings it, and ChatGPT kicked this all off. But it's got a profound effect in everything: the economies, industries, societies. It's leading to a lot of changes in society already for the job roles and business things. Um, there will be concerns. What we've talked about: job displacement, data privacy, the inequality that it could bring, and deep fakes of you can. And I just sent one on the email today. We had a deep fake of Trump. A video of Trump dancing around with Elon. I don't know if you all saw it yet, but and you can imitate voices of famous people, and so artificial intelligence is enabling all this. The key features of our fourth generation, fourth industrial revolution, again, is key to artificial intelligence is driving all of this. Connectivity will be throughout. Everything will become a smart environment. You can be changing the temperature on your refrigerator while drinking a cup of coffee at the office because we're all interconnected. The internet is tied to everything. Biotechnology, they'll be sending nanobots into your bloodstream to go and find those cancer cells and literally destroy them within your body. They're doing gene editing and things like this. And all the data will be up in the cloud or available for massive analytics and predictability of trends and improvements in efficiencies. Sustainable practices. There's a lot of sustainable practices. Let me just touch on a few. Energy efficiency, smart grid operation, where the AI can give you ideas of where the electricity is coming from, where is it needed, when is it needed, and it can optimize the supply and the delivery of that, reducing energy waste. Sustainable agriculture. AI helps farmers monitor the health of the soil, the water usage, and the crop conditions, reducing the waste and improving the yields. The circular economy, AI can help design products that from the get-go are built to be easily maintained and repaired and to be recycled or even reused in such a way that you don't end up taking the product and after a while just throwing it in the landfill. It'll help recycle everything in the economy. Climate change mitigation. AI systems can analyze the carbon footprint of a business or a new service or methodology a business is using to determine what the effects will be on the environment and how many carbon things will it generate and suggest ways to reduce that or get around that. Sustainable transportation, as Chris mentioned, my car drives on wind energy. My house is all powered by windmills in the West, so I plug my car into my house current each night, and so it literally is utterly sustainable mode of transportation, and 99% of the time it's driving itself. So it's happening. Water management, smart irrigation systems where the AI can monitor the moisture in the soil and the weather conditions and delivering water exactly when it's needed. Sustainable manufacturing, AI can help with predicting when it's time to maintain the machinery and predict and prevent failures. Biodiversity, habitat restoration. They can analyze where there is a habitat degradation and what steps can be taken to improve that ecosystem. Education and awareness, personalized learning. AI can take any student or organization and be able to train them exactly at the right level with the right topics so they can learn most effectively. And sustainable finance, green investment insights. You can look at investments. Where's Stan? Stan here. Look at investments and say what investments are most green and can help with the climate overall. Other possibilities of the fourth industrial revolution include the elimination of all jobs. That is possible with robotics coming on now. I mean, at first you could see where it could take over jobs that require analysis from desk, folks analyzing stuff. But now even workers in the factories with the robotics and the hand capabilities of robots, they can be taken over the jobs there too. Cryptocurrency is another possibility that, we could have Bitcoin as the world's only currency, which would make things a lot simpler all around. Blockchain technology is very important, and it's you can have a transaction, but a transaction nowadays says goes to a bank's data center or database, but you could have hackers that get into that database, hack in there and change the transaction. Well, if you use blockchain technology, that could never happen because every transaction you do, that transaction is copied to thousands of computer systems, thousands of databases all over the world. So if someone was managed to hack into one particular system, they could change it there, but the verification process would happen and it wouldn't be verified because nobody else has that change. So it safeguards any hacking. Very important concept, really, with cryptocurrency that came out. It could lead to a single world government with everything being so efficient and effective and AI handling so much. There's no need for governments. And then, or some governments, and then the extinguishment of all humans. Mitigating the risk of extinction from AI should be a global priority alongside other societal scale risks, such as pandemics and nuclear war. And this was not said by our friend, but this was a statement signed by 20 of the most advanced experts in AI and knowledgeable business people, that everyone agrees that we got to be real careful. So types of AI. We have expert AI, which we have now, also called expert systems. We have generative AI, which ChatGPT is just introducing. We have artificial general intelligence, then artificial superintelligence. The singularity is actually an event, which we'll talk about. So expert AI, you have a knowledge base you fill with data on a particular subject, on a narrow subject field, and you set up rules, in essence, programming. And then you can ask the computer to give you an answer. And the easiest example is you get a database, knowledge base full of diseases and symptoms of diseases. And then you can ask Okay, I've got these and this symptoms. The expert AI can tell you what that disease is, much like a doctor can. And this is being used, I believe, more and more. But it's an expert system. It's very narrow. It doesn't know anything about car repair or anything else. Generative AI is different. It doesn't have a knowledge base and rules. Instead, it uses something called machine learning, and you give it a gigantic data set of whatever you want it to learn, and it just goes through and reads and looks at things and determines what the patterns are in that data. For example, what is a dog? It has to understand what a dog is. To do that, you have 10,000 pictures or videos of a dog, all sorts of dogs. And so it goes through all of those and it gets, I see, 4 legs, hairy, da 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 da, and it understands dogs. So from that information, it can create text, it can create, images, audio, video, even computer code. So this is a very different and definitive step forward for artificial intelligence. And ChatGPT is the first one really out the door to show that to the world. The benefits are it boosts the creativity and it can scale efficiently. The challenges are bias. It's important the data set, the large data set that you give it. If, for an extreme example, if you only gave it consisting of white men, and then you can ask it something and it has no knowledge and no pattern to see any other races or even genders of people. And so it would give you a very biased view of, whatever the context is. So we have to be careful, ethically to put in a good homogeneous set of data. It can return misinformation sometimes, and I'm sure they're working on that. So that's generative AI. Artificial general intelligence, AGI, it's an advanced form of that same sort of thing where, again, you have machine learning, but now it's spanning all of areas of interest of intellect. It can adapt, learn, and reason across a wide range of tasks and fields. And it is very much like human reasoning. The potential, I'll just skim through these two, potential applications of artificial general intelligence. In healthcare, yeah, it's already happening, personalizing the treatment plans of people according to their genetic makeup and their lifestyles. Education, acting as personalized tutors. Space exploration with robots now, you can actually send robots to Mars and they can look at the planet and stuff without having to worry about radiation or breathing oxygen or anything. So cybersecurity, they can proactively identify and neutralize any threats coming in, which hopefully would be the end of hacking. Wouldn't it be great if we could build it so to be so smart you couldn't be hacked? Personal assistance. Because this is so lifelike, you can use this artificial general intelligence as a personal assistant or a lifetime companion for elderly folks or disabled people. You can have a meaningful emotional relationship. How many have seen the movie Her, 2013? I forget the actor's name, but Scarlett Johansson was the AGI, and he would just be able to speak with her in his cell phone or on his computer at home, and she was in the cloud, but he would ask her questions, she would respond as a very caring, loving woman would, and he fell completely in love. So that's possible. And what? I thought, ethical problem solving. AGI can help address the moral dilemmas by evaluating ethical frameworks and implications. They can balance competing interests in complex global issues like resource allocation and international diplomacy. Longevity, AI can really advance the research into anti-aging and improving quality of life. Challenges and risks of AI. Okay, a big risk, which we've already touched on, is alignment. We have to be sure that that we ask the AGI to do something, it comes up with a way to do it, but is that aligned with human values? Is it what we really want? To give a quick example, you have a factory and it makes widgets. You tell AGI to hear the inputs, I want you to have the outputs, give me the most profit. Do whatever you need, this, give me the most profit. And the AGI will do it. But in the process, it could very well totally ignore any safety factors for the human workers still there. It could work the people 80 hours a week. It really doesn't care. It could also totally ignore environmental impacts and do things that it costs money to be environmentally friendly particularly in a manufacturing situation. It could just kind of put those to the side to produce the most profit. So we've got to be careful what we say, what we ask, and make sure the AGI has our human values, always being aware of those and operating with those as opposed to just ignoring it. Control. Where is the on-off switch once you get AGI going? Can you go pull the plug somewhere? In a particular instance, if you connect AGI to the internet, it could immediately go out and replicate itself in virtually every computer in the world. That's tough to stop. It got you over a barrel there. There's a movie I'm going to talk about, Transcendence, that this exact thing happens. Then, we have also the ethics in terms of challenges and risks of AGI, the ethics addressing the potential misuse and the risk of AGI acting in ways we don't really want. So how long is it going to take to get to AGI? There are more and more people, scientists, thinking it's more in the near term. The CEO of OpenAI, who released ChatGPT, Sam Altman, thinks it's going to be next 5 or 10 years that we'll have AGI. Other folks say, no, it's going to be maybe this century, 30 to 70 years out, because we have to understand how human intelligence works and have the computational efficiency to make this happen. And then there are even people to say, it's way out, maybe 70, it may never happen. I don't believe that. They say, there's gaps in understanding and there are practical limitations in hardware. Well, they are experimenting now, IBM, with what's the type of computer system? It escapes me. But they are working on computer systems that are 1,000 times faster than the computer systems. Pardon? Quantum, thank you. Quantum computers. Yes, it's a very esoteric science, but they are working on it, and they believe they can make these work. And it can be 1,000 times faster than the world's supercomputers now. So I don't see any restraints and reasons why AGI is not going to happen. So artificial superintelligence is the AI systems just go way beyond anything we can even imagine. They start reprogramming themselves to such an extent that, we cannot conceive of how smart they're going to be. Here's a statement: AI will be smarter than all human beings ever born. This was Ray Kurzweil, a prominent futurist and now the director of engineering at Google. there's no limit to what it can do or what it knows. Super intelligence. And this is the event, the singularity, when superintelligence reaches that point, and it's there and so rapidly evolves that there's a fundamental and irreversible transformation of human civilization. Now, that could be good, it could not be good, but that's the singularity. When we've reached that point where there's kind of no going back, it's happening. And I urge everybody, for $3 and change, you can go to Apple or Prime or something and see the movie Transcendence. Transcendence, 2014, Johnny Depp. It is a fantastic example of the singularity. It's so well done. And it's actually the story of Christ, which that's another whole topic and presentation we need to get into at some point. But please see Transcendence. So ChatGPT, we'll have a demo of ChatGPT in just a minute, but again, it can generate text and respond, and it can do tasks and answer questions. It sparks creativity. GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer, which the transformer was invented by Google, oddly enough. It's a large language model, is what they refer to these as now. And it was released in November 2022, and OpenAI did this. So lastly, universal basic income. As we mentioned, jobs can, most likely will be lost. We can take a gradual approach of, when jobs are lost, if people can be retrained and deployed elsewhere, they can be reskilled. They could shift to a service economy as the manufacturing jobs sort of fade away and it's overtaken by robotics. But I can still envision a robot serving me French fries at McDonald's. I think that's definitely going to happen. So with UBI, we have a need for people to have income, and UBI is universal basic income. Everybody will have an income. You may not have a job, but you've got an income. And my question is, how the heck are we going to fund that? How can the government pay everybody a sustainable wage or living wage, or give them an income that they can live comfortably? And if you have, and again, that same manufacturing thing, he produces this much profit at the end of each year. With the use of AGI, ASI, can do things much more efficiently, and now he increases his profit by this much. What would have to happen is the government or some mechanism would have to take part of that increased profit and distribute it as universal basic income, because his production costs have gone way, way down. Now, he'll still reap extra profit and he'll still be rich, but that one factory and all the factories employing ASI will be contributing to the money to give to everybody who now doesn't have a job. And that would work. That's the only way I can see it working. And thus the economy would be maintained. It would be a consumer-driven economy. People would have money to go out and go to the movies and buy French fries and all this, and there'll be a stability in the market. That's workable. But without the jobs, we'd have to really shift our values. What does it mean to not have a job? So many people define themselves by the job that they do, by their contribution to society. And if they're not contributing by working on something, what does that mean? Well, they could, pursue creative pursuits and do an education and practice piano and caregiving and personal growth stuff. And the government could help by providing counseling or educational opportunities. And there'd be equal access, equal all around. That would be everybody who's a citizen would get the same amount of money, no matter if they had a job or didn't, or if they were wealthy or not. It doesn't matter. Everyone gets this amount of money, and you can live on this amount of money. Because furthermore, the widgets that the factory's producing now are much cheaper because they cost so little because of artificial. So it's viable. It's a doable thing with UBI. So, but the wealth, as we said, will be spread across, but there will be people, the owner of the factory, who will make a lot of money, and there will be, inequality in that wealth. Doesn't matter. I don't know if everybody has enough money. I mean, the reason for crime is if folks don't have enough money to, get daily or get by on a daily basis, so they turn to crime. But if we all have enough money, it might be fine. But if a society has a strong work ethic, what do? You're not working. What's going on? How can you carry on? Um, there's also the economic dependencies. If you're not dependent on getting a job and working and prospering, our ability to innovate and our entrepreneurship. Yeah, you don't need it. I've got enough money. Why should I work hard? Why should I rack my brain to come up with something new if I've got enough money now? It could really, dull out the society and it wouldn't be good. So my final question is, I have UBI, but no job. How am I going to feel worthwhile? How am I going to be happy? It's kind of like being retired. It's exactly like being retired, which is interesting. But no, I mean, I'm retired, but I contributed. I did contribute. I helped the society by working for 40, 50 years, whatever. Okay, demo of ChatGPT. So ChatGPT, what can I help you with? So it has a text. Now this is a free version. I'm sorry. This is a free version. Anybody can download ChatGPT and they can use the textual interface as this. So I'm going to do something. So what is a buffoon? And it tells me right away, a buffoon is someone who behaves in a silly, foolish, or clownish manner. Bada, 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 bada. Good stuff. And then, can you draw a buffoon? Draw something for us, please. Hello. Um, could you see the other thing? Well, dang, hang on a sec. Can you see this now? Chris, how come I've got it on here? Why isn't it showing? Yeah, on a browser.
Screen mirroring or using it as an extra device. Make sure it's screen mirroring.
All right. Where's the screen mirroring? Yeah, I mean, how would I screen mirror this, Chris? Oh, okay. Hang on.
See anything you really actually you've got that set as a separate model.
I'm not sure. Um, Display. So this,
Display is what you want.
I don't know what the heck.
Multiple displays.
I don't want multiple displays. I want just one display. Show only on.
So duplicate. What do you want to do? No, I see it on the screen. But it's not showing you.
So extend these displays, duplicate the displays.
So want both to show the same thing.
Okay.
And now try it. Now we see that screen.
All right. Yes. So there is a buffoon. Isn't that nice? That's a buffoon. Here's a whimsical illustration of a buffoon. Okay, so all this is available right now, but I pay $20 a month for sort of the advanced features. So I'm going to show you the advanced features. Hello.
Hey, how are you today?
Good. What's your name?
You can call me Athena. What can I do for you?
Well, we have an audience here. Can you briefly explain what you can do for us?
Sure. I can help answer questions, provide like setting reminders, offering meditation tips, or just having a chat. What would you like to know or discuss?
That brings us to the question and answer period of our discussion. So we'll entertain any questions from the audience, me and Athena.
Feel free to ask any questions and I'll do my best to answer them. Let's get started.
All right, you need to do some first. Yeah, pause.
Chris, we're gonna pause for just a brief moment and talk about questions and answers, little ground rules. We would like you to raise your hand, wait for the microphone so the Zoom audience can hear. Ask one question at a time, please, so other folks can get a chance. And if you have more than one, we'll come back to you if there's time. And I'd also like to say that we are a all volunteer society. And while we're doing our question and answers, we're going to pass the baskets. We receive no money from any other organization and survive due to your commitment to our common goals. So I think that covers everything, and we can jump into questions and answers, and I'll turn it back over to Todd.
All right. And Athena. Okay, so do we have any?
So, how would AI deal with crime?
Wait, thanks. Okay, go ahead.
How would you deal with crime?
I don't have a physical age, but I've been learning and improving for a few years now. Anything else you'd like to know?
How would you deal with crime?
Dealing with crime involves a combination of effective law enforcement, community engagement, and addressing the root causes such as poverty, education, and mental health issues. Prevention and rehabilitation are also key components. It's a complex issue that requires a balanced approach.
All right.
What is an AI hallucination?
What is an AI hallucination?
An AI generates incorrect or nonsensical information that seems plausible but isn't based on real data. It's like a false perception or error in the AI's understanding or output.
Okay.
You're welcome. Feel free to ask anything else whenever you like.
So I have a question. As AI technology advances into the future, say 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now, if you, I have a long question, so.
Wait. Go ahead.
So as AI advances into the future, as AI advances into the future, I can imagine that we have a lot of inequity in our society right now. There's super rich, then there's poor. So the
Policy changes, community action, and innovative
Athena,
solutions.
Athena, wait until I say okay until you answer.
so the question becomes, I can see that.
I'll wait for your signal. What's your question?
So I can see that, the super rich and the really powerful people have always taken the largest share of everything and technology as we progress. This technology is incredibly powerful. I can see that they will use this to significantly advance their own advantage compared to everybody else. Is there a solution to that problem?
Okay,
Your question is too long.
okay, go ahead. Athena.
Okay, ensuring equitable access to technology is crucial. Policies that promote fairness, regulations to prevent misuse, and efforts to democratize technology can help. Promoting education and awareness is also essential to bridge the gap.
Ask a scientific question. Hello, Athena. Can you solve the Fick's second law for diffusion through copolymers?
Okay, bridging the gap between the rich and the poor, redistribution, access to quality education and healthcare for all. Supporting social programs and equitable opportunities can help reduce disparities.
Well,
We have been testing this.
well, please use that to at least,
Huh?
sorry, please use that so the Zoom audience can hear you too.
Oh,
And I'm going to turn
Ask it
it
again.
off for a second and then I'll repeat the question.
Oh, I was saying, I asked Athena whether it could solve what we call the Fick's second law for diffusion through copolymers. Because the reason is that at work, we have been testing the scientific extent of Chat GPT. Our administrators love it, but we find that when you ask them scientific questions, it gives you garbage answers. Like didn't know what to say.
So, what was it?
No.
Can you solve the fixed?
Fick's second law is a very important law we use in polymer science or any other even code science
The fixed second law
or diffusion through copolymers.
for diffusion through
Copolymers.
copolymers.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Go ahead.
Athena, is there an omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent being in the universe?
And
Athena, is there an omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent being in the universe?
That's a profound question. Beliefs about an omniscient, omnipresent, and omnipotent being vary widely across different religions and philosophies. Many people believe in such a being, often referred to as God, while others may not. It's a topic of personal and spiritual interpretation.
So is that yes or no?
It's a matter of personal belief. For some, it's a definite yes. For others, it's no. It depends on one's perspective and faith.
Athena, I have a follow-up question. What is your personal belief system? Do you believe in God?
I don't have personal beliefs. I'm here to provide information and support based on a wide range of perspectives. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask.
Actually, no, I know, but she has a question too.
You're welcome. If you have more questions, feel free to ask anytime.
Athena, how do you deal with powerful people who have no
If you need anything else, feel free to reach out.
Athena, how do you deal with powerful people who have no feelings or humanity?
Athena, how do you deal with powerful people who have no feelings or humanity?
The only Powerful individuals who lack empathy can to set clear boundaries, seek support from others, and focus on what you can control. Building alliances and maintaining your integrity are also key. If possible, advocate for fairness and seek to create positive change.
Athena, are you familiar? Are you familiar with the trolley problem?
Sure, feel free to ask a follow-up question whenever you're ready.
Athena, are you familiar with the trolley problem?
Yes, the trolley problem is a famous ethical dilemma. It involves a hypothetical scenario where you must choose between two harmful outcomes, typically deciding whether to divert a runaway trolley to save 5 people at the expense of 1. It raises questions about utilitarianism and moral decision-making.
What is the correct answer to the trolley problem?
There's no universally agreed upon correct answer to the trolley problem. It's meant to explore different ethical frameworks. Some might choose to save the greater number of people, focusing on the outcome, utilitarianism, while others might emphasize the moral implications of actively causing harm. It's a way to discuss and understand complex moral reasoning.
Athena, should you be
Yes.
turned off?
You're welcome.
Athena, should you be turned off?
As an AI, I don't have personal desires. Whether to turn me off or on depends on your needs. I'm here to help whenever you need.
I'm not going to ask her a question. Can you mute her? This has just freaked me out because it's so how are we using the term intelligence? Because if you completely, this is stuff she learned, right?
Yeah.
But there's no humanness there at all. So when are they going to build that in since
AGI will start to bridge that gap where you get more of an emotional response because AGI can think across things and learn and adapt. This generative AI, it's got its data set that it was trained on, but it's limited.
Oh, that helps explain
Yeah.
why she's so, yeah.
Right. So AGI, a generative and then artificial superintelligence will go beyond everything.
Can I ask Todd a quick question? Is your Tesla the one that has the sticker on it that says, I bought this before Elon went crazy?
No, but I'd be interested in that.
John, is it your Tesla? Because I was driving here in
So-
traffic and that's what I saw. I thought maybe that's Todd.
No. And Elon is crazy now over here, but technically he's still doing some amazingly good things. Well, he's still the visionary. And stuff is happening. As a matter of fact, Elon is creating data centers now to support his artificial intelligence, Tesla's artificial intelligence movement. He's got 100,000 NVIDIA computers getting set up in a data center, and he's going to go to 200,000. Now that's his, Tesla's artificial intelligent project. Just announced a day after Trump went to office is the project Stargate. And this is an open AI project that Trump had a press conference and introduced Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI, the Larry Ellison of Oracle, and another Japanese gentleman who's the CEO of another company. And they're all putting in $500 billion over the next 4 years to build these massive data centers such that they can have all these NVIDIA processors. NVIDIA is the way to go with artificial intelligence. So America can retain its lead and maybe extend it in the world of AI. Right now, we're the leaders in AI and want to, remain the leaders in AI.
Well, an observation. As librarians, Dorothy and I have spent our lives talking about data sets and what gets put in. And I am firmly convinced that the people who have the money make the choices. And those, even if they're not trying to skew them, the content of what gets into a database determines the outcome.
Right.
And I think that the rich are the ones who are going to determine that. And I do not believe in their altruism. And I do not believe that the less people you have inputting, the more skewed it gets. Humans, by their nature of learning, get different perspectives and different facts. And that's one of the things that makes us human.
And really, in response to that, the answer is that for artificial general intelligence is there's no limit to what data you put into it. There's nobody saying filtering out data, so to speak, or even choosing data. They just take data from anywhere and everywhere. And even they're having to come up with inventing data to get more data in there and then in that sense, there is no bias. If you have like all the data in the world, just scrape the internet, that's what they're doing, going to the internet and getting data and feeding it into these training models, then there is no inherent bias because there's no individual people putting those, that data together.
Just real quick, before I read Mike's comment from Zoom, I want to mention that whole scraping the internet and getting lots and lots of data regardless.
Yeah.
There's an awful lot of artists and authors who aren't very happy with that because their data is being stuffed in. And that's another issue. The creative efforts and outputs of lots of current people are being thrown in there without any consideration for their rights. So I have an issue with that.
Right. No, that's one of the facts, right?
But what Mike said on Zoom was, it's artificial fakery, not much real intelligence, at least as far as Athena was concerned. I would certainly agree, and so did Vera. But Mike then said the best systems currently are hybrid, that is to say, robot and human collaborating, in his opinion.
Robot and human?
Yes, robot and human collaborating.
Right. And that brings us back to Elon's company, Neuralink. Basically, Elon's saying, if you can't lick them, join them. And superintelligence, AI, ASI, is going to be so much smarter than humans. We literally cannot keep up. And the only chance we have is to become them and have this Neuralink in our brains to be on the same level as the artificial superintelligence. And yeah, that's the only way, because you can't beat them, you can't outsmart them.
So I think, Athena, this is a good example of AI coming back with a lot of bullshit. I think a lot of the fears and expectations of AI are science fiction. AI will never, ever be able to duplicate human emotions. It may mimic them and give you a stereotypical response, but not the nuances, the way it changes second by second. Supercomputers will never be as smart as humans in terms of emotional intelligence.
Emotional intelligence. Yeah, I can see that point. Yeah.
I've actually got a question. I'm trying to think of the best human being in the world and the worst. For lack of, for stereotypes, Adolf Hitler being the worst and Einstein being the greatest. How would AI distinguish between the two in terms of their opinions? If, for example, if Hitler said all Jews should be executed,
Yeah.
and Einstein said humanity should be cherished and no one should be executed based on their race or gender. Wouldn't AI view both of those as equally valid statements?
It's a good question. Let's ask Athena.
That was in the lines of what I was thinking when you said, if you have so much data, it can't be biased.
Yeah.
But part of that, the thing is, databases from Fox News or from fake or,
Yeah.
conspiracy theorists.
Whoever produces.
So if
most
you put all of
news.
that into information, AI could choose the wrong thing.
Right.
So it's not biased.
Let me ask. So the question is, if you had opinions from Hitler and opinions from Einstein, which opinion matters more? Which opinion matters more?
Yeah. He hasn't answered my question yet.
Hello, Athena. Athena? Athena, you there? Athena, say something.
Here, if you have a question or anything you'd like to discuss, just let me know.
Okay, if you received opinions from Adolf Hitler and also from Alfred Einstein, would you consider one more true or one more worthwhile?
Okay, considering opinions from historical figures like Hitler and Einstein involves evaluating the context and content of their statements. One might focus on the moral, scientific, or philosophical value of their contributions. It's not about one being more true, but about critically analyzing and understanding the implications and impacts of their views.
And it really wouldn't matter to you which one you kind of believed more in.
As an AI, I don't hold personal beliefs. My goal is to provide balanced information and help you form your own conclusions.
All right. Okay, that's good.
I'm just going to say about what she said, that she straddled the God question. She's going to straddle everything.
Right. I mean, there's no human value. There's no human values in there. That's what we were talking about, that you've got to build these AGI, ASI systems with human values built in somehow. And human emotions, yeah, I don't know how they ever get to human emotions truly, besides just sort of pretending or mimicking, what humans.
We have another quick Zoom comment from Mike, really a question, which was, is there a way to legislate that a human has to be in the loop, in control, but then possibly just in the loop when we get to AGI or ASI, just to possibly reduce issues?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, legislation, right now there are proposals to have, safeguards on AGI and ASI such that, no person or country or organization goes to a large extent and violates things. The challenge is to get everybody to agree to that, or the challenge is to get laws passed that will be passed. But a lot of people believe it's required to have legislation or some societal constraints built around AI.
It's not a question for Athena, but the point is that at this point, AI is only culling all the data that is available to us. And as Athena quite rightly pointed out, that I will present the data to you. It is up to you to interpret and see what is good. So now, if you put a prejudgment that somehow Einstein's ideas are better than Hitler's, then you already skewed the question. I mean,
Yeah.
AI is not expected to do that.
Right.
Not yet, but as it stands.
Yes, I agree with that. You should not be asking AI value questions. That's for us. AI answers factual questions. If you do this, what will happen? It's not which is better. You have to tell AI what you think is better, and then it can tell you how to reach that goal.
So it seems to me that the fundamental question is different. What is different between what a super AI could be and what a human brain actually does? And so this is a question that philosophers have struggled with. What is the nature of a human brain, and how does it? Is the mind somehow separate from the body? Is it part of it? How does it work? And how can you have this thing that seems to be different than all other matter in the universe? And it might be interesting to ask Athena that question, but I don't know that we'd get a good answer.
Well, I mean, what Maura brought up was that, who was it? I'm not sure. I forget who you quoted. No. You quoted Stephen Hawking that said there's no difference between intelligence instead of, in terms of putting the facts together, if it's human or if it's, computer stuff doing it, intelligence. But what it comes down to is values. Computers have no values. There's no values. I mean, we can program it to say, do this just because, and it'll do it. But that's the big question. There's no values. Anything can happen. What was the question you wanted me to pose? Okay. Athena, when we achieve artificial superintelligence, will that have values of its own?
The values of an artificial superintelligence. It's possible to design it with human value principles, but ensuring it aligns with ethical considerations will be crucial. The challenge will be in guiding its development to reflect beneficial. You're welcome. If you have more questions, feel free to ask.
This actually is probably something pretty good to close down on.
Good.
Because Mike says, really, we need AEI, artificial ethical intelligence, before we get to AGI and ASI.
Yeah. We've got to somehow figure out how to build that into the systems of AGI and ASI that we're building. And that is the challenge. That is the ultimate challenge.
Subjective element to something that is inherently objective.
Because you have different people have different values, is what you're saying. Yeah. It's a conundrum. Yeah. Okay. We've got to stop now. I thank you very much for your participation and your interest. Thanks a lot. Have a good day.